Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kid Stories Podcast. I'm Phil Bechtel. Let's jump into a shout out here. Brothers Aiden and Sean from Lafayette, California are big fans and they shared some epic drawings. I think if you two were in the stories, you'd be two wizards who live inside of a big dragon, and whenever you want to go someplace, you climb right in the dragon's mouth and he just flies you there. Thanks for listening, Aiden and Sean. Today's episode is titled The Dangers of Reading Again, Part 3. Calynn, Dylan, William, and Jameson left Althea's cabin and went back the way they came, through the floating aisles. As they stepped off the rope bridge, they noticed that the stone golems were back in place, standing like statues at the other end of the bridge. "There's new golems to fight?" said William. "No, they're the same ones," said Calynn. "They reform themselves every time, but they only attack people going the other way, so we're good." Just in case, they all took out their swords and tiptoed past the huge statues, as if their swords would do any good against those beasts. They climbed back down the vines and wandered the land, following Calynn, hiding from roving bands of mud beasts, until they came to a huge, beautiful mansion. "Why isn't this building damaged at all?" asked Dylan. "All the other homes and villages are pretty banged up." "This is the home of the architect," said Calynn. "Malakai the warlock paid him to build his castle on Swamp Mountain. The architect has unique powers that allow him to build complex structures in no time. So the architect sold out and built Malakai's sprawling castle. In exchange, he gets to live in luxury, and the mud beasts all leave him alone." While the mansion did look amazing, it seemed out of place in the desolate landscape. And it seemed like there was no one else around. The place felt empty. "How do we know the architect won't turn on us or something?" asked Jameson. "We don't," said Calynn. "But we won't be able to find Malakai in his impenetrable castle without figuring out how to get inside first." Calynn pounded on the massive wooden door of the mansion, and soon they heard footsteps on the other side. A moment later, the door creaked open. Hey there," Calynn said. "Is your dad home?" "My dad?" the boy said. "No, my parents don't live here. This place is all mine." "You're the architect?" Calynn said in disbelief. "Yeah, the one and only," the boy said. "Did you come for an autograph? I happen to have my autograph pen right here." He pulled a pen from his pocket as Calynn rolled her eyes. "No, we're not here for an autograph," she said. "Can we come in?" Sure, come on in, check the place out," the architect said. And they followed him inside the mansion. The place was absolutely amazing. It was so big, an entire town could live in it. "I know we just met, but I'm glad you came," the architect said. "I don't get many visitors." "Even in a place like this?" said William. "If I lived in a house like this, my friends would come over all the time." "Well, I don't have many friends ever since I betrayed everyone and created a nearly impenetrable fortress castle for the warlock," said the architect. "That kind of, upset everyone, I guess." "Did you say nearly impenetrable fortress?" asked Calynn. "So you're saying there's a way in?" "Well, I could have made it totally impenetrable if I wanted to," the boy said. "I am the architect after all, but, he lowered his voice and looked around suspiciously. "I may have left a little, back door into the place." "Look, I'm going to be honest with you here," began Calynn. "We're on a mission to defeat the warlock, and we can't get in and do it without your help." "Oh, just getting in isn't enough," said the architect, smiling. "You definitely need a map to find Malakai in that maze of traps and mud beasts. It's a masterpiece, really. Malakai's practically invincible while he's in that castle." "Okay, then. Can you show us the entrance and give us a map?" asked Calynn. "Well, as you can see, I don't work for free." The architect gestured to the amazing home around them. "I'll give you 1 Oreo," Calynn said. "What's that?" the architect asked, intrigued. Without asking, Calynn opened the backpack still hanging from William's shoulders. "It's the most delicious thing you've never eaten. It'll change your life. Here." Calynn stuck her hand out. An Oreo in the middle. Ew, said the architect. It's charred black. You've burnt it. I'll tell you what. You eat this Oreo, and if you show us the way into the castle and give us a map, I'll give you another one, said Calynn. The architect was suspicious, but he didn't really have anything else going on at the moment, so he popped the entire cookie in his mouth all at once. He chewed fast at first, and then slowly to make it last. That was... What was that? He asked. An Oreo, Calynn said. It's just Oreo, corrected Dylan. It's just a kind of cookie. I have other cookies in my bag. Dylan slung his backpack around to the front of him. He went to unzip it, but Calynn put her hands on his to stop him. First the map and the way in, she negotiated. Then the cookies. You just say cookies, not coo... Oh, never mind, said Dylan. Deal! Here, come over here, I'll show you. The architect led the kids over to a huge table. He pulled a map from a secret compartment and spread it out. On one side was a map of the entire kingdom, and on the other side was a map of the castle itself. Look here, this is where the secret entrance is. I'll walk you there later if you want, and... He flipped the map over to the castle side. And here's all the rooms and traps and everything, and I'll show you exactly where to go. Over the next few hours, the architect ate cookies and showed the kids how to get in. There were hundreds of rooms on the castle side of the map. They could never remember the way. So he drew on the map to show the precise path they would need to take to avoid most of the traps and minions. Once it was complete, the architect led them to the secret entrance. It was about a day's hike away. A small brick doorway built into the side of a hill in a thick forest at the base of Swamp Mountain. Okay, this is it, he said. Good luck in there. Hey, architect, you think you might want to join us? Calynn asked. We could use your help. Oh, no, I think the warlock is totally going to destroy you he's super powerful, you know? Said the boy. But, you think I could get another one of those Oreos for the road? Calynn rolled her eyes and handed him one last Oreo. Yes! Thanks, friends. Good luck in there. And with that, the architect slunk back down the hill to the safety of his mansion. The kids all looked at each other. We doing this? Calynn asked. The boys nodded and began chanting. Final boss! Final boss! Final boss! Shh! Calynn shushed, looking around. You're gonna get us wrecked by some mud beasts before we even get inside. And so the kids all whispered. Final boss! Final boss! Final boss! As they entered the impenetrable castle of the mad warlock Malakai. The end. Thanks for listening, friends. The website is kidstoriespodcast.com. Send all your drawings and shout-out requests to kidstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Adios.